Buckle up, bitches. It's pub time.
If you've ever had a one-night stand last for 10 years, then this is the podcast for you. It's the boys from Illinois, the Pub Time Podcast.
Is that how you're describing your marriage?
No, just for the listeners out there.
I didn't know if that's
Just for the listeners out there.
how you were
Fuck,
classifying.
I had 14 in before I even asked.
Right?
At
But
least.
I suppose you're right.
I held off as long as
It
I
is
could.
though, and like your story is like a true American love story in a lot of ways.
Pretty close.
I would say. I mean,
Throw it at me. What are you getting at here?
well, just in the end, true love prevailed, right? Because
Right.
you know, kind of you guys had a child, young, and when everybody's still trying to figure out their own shit, we're not really like, we think we're adults, but we're not really adults at that point in time. We don't know how to navigate the world.
Right. I was an asshole. I mean, I'll be straight
Yeah.
up. Some things haven't changed.
You
but
guys decide to go your separate ways. And then, I mean, and for a while, right? It wasn't like you guys broke up for a year or something. I mean, it was a bit.
6 years.
And it just ended up in
Yeah.
the end, man.
Come full circle. It happens.
It worked out. Which
Nobody
is good.
circles the wagons quite like us.
That's right. That's right, man. So it's kind of surreal that this is episode 100, right? I mean, we're almost to 2 years. We're a month away from
Right.
2 years,
Yep. D-Day.
100 episodes,
P-Day.
which is that's an accomplishment because I think a lot of people that get into doing this sort of thing, I shouldn't say most people. That's probably unfair, but
No, most flake out.
well, I mean,
If
I'm
that's
saying
where you're going
no.
with
Well,
that.
I'm saying I think there's a good number of people out there that consider starting a podcast, and then a percentage of those people actually attempt to at some point in time. And here we are now, being 100 episodes in, and it's not easy. It's not easy to hang in this long necessarily. I mean, now,
The consistency, I think, still an issue, especially for something you're not making any fucking money doing.
Well, and
you
we've-
know? It's
we've-
easy to show up to work every day because my ass gets paid.
sure. And we've been very upfront about the fact that, you know,
We're doing this pro bono. Pro boner.
that, and you know, this has sort of existed, right, as a vehicle for which to us just hang out,
Yeah,
basically.
shoot the shit.
And it's worked out to this point. Obviously, life gets in the way sometimes, but like I think we are to the point where we're just good with that. We realize that that's going to happen sometimes, and we don't sweat it because we know that when we can, we'll get back to it.
Yeah, the best part about it is we could set these bitches down and come back 5 months, 6 months, 5 years down the road.
It sounds the same.
We'd pick up right where we left
Yeah.
off.
And no, that's true. And I think that's because of the way we do this, right? I mean, this isn't something where we don't, we speak about current events sometimes, but we're not talking about, you know, people aren't relying on us in some way for like our constant opinions on like what's happening in the world and in anything. We're pretty random about what we talk about. And the improvement that maybe comes from repetition of doing this all the time, like, isn't really necessarily a concern for us either, because
No.
we're not here to impress anybody else.
No.
And that's what, in a way, that's what makes it easy. Because I think,
We're growers and not showers.
yeah,
I mean,
the reason a lot of people fail at this sort of thing is they have unrealistic expectations of what it can be. And it's no different than any other business venture. You see people out there who are highly successful at doing something, and you think, I can do that too. And this isn't particularly difficult, but it's a lot harder than people think it is to,
what do you mean?
like, to
be
sit down.
successful at, or
Well-
just to do in general?
Yeah, well, I mean, one, the consistency is harder than people think. If you have a life at all, like, it's much harder than people think. Two,
Whoa, God. What
well,
are you
I'm just
doing
saying,
there?
like, if you have
Who are you throwing daggers at, bub?
whoever, if you have a job and like responsibilities, like, it's tough to find time for this sort of thing once in a while. I mean, consistently. And then it's not as easy as people think to sit down in front of a microphone and give somewhat coherent thoughts on anything.
Somewhat.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd say.
I think that it's something that a lot of people think they can do, and I'm not saying that we're great at it by any means, but it's certainly harder than
We're the best two in this room at it. Fuck
we
it.
are.
I
Yeah,
don't
there's
care.
no doubt about that. I mean, Hank might take issue with it, but look at him. He's moving around. I haven't seen that motherfucking lizard move in a month.
My boy come alive.
Well, it's 'cause you were trying to starve him out.
He's good now. Fuck it.
Look, he's like ready to go. He's like coming over here, like swing the mic over, boys. I
took
got
his,
something to say.
Having the light back. I mean, my guy was probably freezing his balls off for a couple days.
And they're so weird. I mean, because I'm assuming they don't shiver, right? I mean, did you see any signs of
Life? No. They
Of
basically
life.
shut down.
really?
They're really
they
good
get
at
cold.
it, though. Yeah.
Like you think it's like it's a way of conserving their energy.
He's a fucking dinosaur, man. He knows how to do this. It's not the first pub he's been in.
So do you think that reptiles are some of the most resilient creatures that roam this earth?
Absolutely. Gators and shit like that. You
So
kidding me?
speaking of that, like I've listened to I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast occasionally, and he's had a couple people on recently. Like one guy was talking about living in like the Amazon rainforest and going on about all these. He's like specializes, I guess. He catches these anacondas and stuff, and it's like Jesus, like to think that there are these species that are that big is just crazy. And then there's this guy I was listening to earlier today. He had on talking about Florida, like they got a big time python issue
problem, yeah.
in the Everglades.
That's because assholes buy them and they cut them loose.
Sure.
Instead of taking them somewhere to.
And so he's going out and catching them.
Right.
And he's telling a story about catching like this 17.5-foot python. He's out there by himself. And
Well,
it's,
they
like,
have
biting
no
him.
predator.
Yeah, they're it, right? I mean, he's like, this python eats alligators. Like it's not, it's at the top of the food chain.
Right.
And so
Certain alligators.
the fact that he's out there with his bare fucking hands alone catching these things
Yeah, I don't know how he gets
is
his nuts in his pants.
nuts, man. Like,
Even
and this
Turtle
one
Man.
bit him. This one bit him in the arm, and he said like it bit an artery, and he had to put while holding its head one hand, had to put a tourniquet on his arm with. Like, I'm like, how? I mean, it's just insane.
And their bite's fucking wild. You remember some of those pythons I had?
No,
I had babies. They were like 3 or 4 foot long.
Do not.
But they have the strongest fucking grip.
well, and that's what he was saying. He goes, the big thing is he's like, I can deal with the bite for the most part. He's like, I just can't let it wrap me up because I'd be in a bad
Right.
spot at that
Oh,
point.
absolutely.
And that's what's crazy is the guy a few episodes prior was talking about like he had some people with him, but he caught an anaconda at one point and it wrapped him up. And he said his shoulders were like touching each other in front of him. Like, I mean, he was like moments away from having his entire rib cage just shattered.
Anything that can swallow a fucking deer whole, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got a good shot at getting you in their mouth.
And he was talking about in the Amazon, they have these, they call them like floating forests or whatever, where like you're walking on grass basically that's floating on water. And then like the tops of the trees are just sticking above the water, but like there's
Yeah, it's like a marsh
30
or
feet of water below you where there's all sorts of vegetation and wildlife. And that's where he said he saw and touched the largest anaconda he's ever seen, and which he estimated to be 30 feet long. And it's just like, good Lord.
That's the same thing though. They go unchecked. There's nothing there that fucks
Right.
with those things other than people.
Right. Well, that's when the other guy was talking, he was called it's the most recent episode. He was called the Python Cowboy, was what he went by, his
Yeah.
nickname.
kinda
And
goofy.
yeah, a little bit, but he seemed like a decent guy. But he said that one he caught that ended up biting him is like when he found it in some vegetation, he was like grabbing it and he's like, it was just slowly slithering away. Like it was not concerned about him at all. And so he's like, I had to piss it off a little bit so it'd bring its head around.
And
Just
bite the
grabbing it
fuck out of me.
by the tail. Well, and he said, he goes, I don't worry much about the big ones because they don't strike as quickly as the smaller ones. You got a big body, a lot of mass. And he's like, and he's like,
But it's got so much power.
well, he said they wear out really fast, like 10 minutes of fighting of any kind, and they're just wet noodle at that point.
Are you gonna go hard 10 minutes with a python? That's what I'm
Me-
saying. Me
well, he
neither.
says it's just striking and he's just dodging its strikes, but he said that normally he said they strike and they recoil, strike, recoil, strike. And he said one time it recoiled, but only recoiled like a third of the way and struck again when he wasn't expecting it. And he's like, this thing has been living for 20, 30 years. He's like, it's like it's maybe learned a little bit.
Yeah, how to trick.
And that's how he got bit. But at the point in time after getting fighting it, he drug it back to his John boat, and it was like at that point, like I said, like a limp noodle. Like it was useless at that point. It was just
Big,
exerted.
heavy fucking limp noodle though.
Sure.
No, I don't know. I don't mind snakes. I'm not going to the fucking Amazon to roll around with them.
No. And both these guys talked about panthers. Well, he talked about Florida Panthers, which I mean, I think a panther,
The hockey team?
a panther, and a
Mountain lion.
jaguar
You know.
are the same thing basically. The people just call them different
Black
things.
Panthers. Yeah.
So the Amazon guy was talking about jaguars. He said he was sleeping in a hammock one night and could hear like one of them was like next to his head. He could like feel its breath and hear it like growling. And he's like, I just don't move, and it finally leaves. And then this other guy was talking about camping in a tent in Florida and hearing this growling noise outside, and it was a Florida panther.
All right.
And
I
I'm just
would
like, what
wrestle
the
that
fuck?
fucking python every day
Over
that
a
fucking
fuck,
cat
yeah.
breathing in my neck.
100%. I no doubt.
'Cause that cat's a killer. I mean, that's what it's meant to do.
Sure.
It does nothing else.
Yeah. And what I found fascinating is the Amazon guy was talking about how he like bathed in the rivers of the Amazon. Like, I mean, the animals in the Amazon are not used to seeing humans, and he did things so he smelled like them. He said so he'd see things casually walking around and they wouldn't give him two thoughts most
So
of
he
the time.
just didn't bathe, smeared
I mean,
shit on himself.
Yeah, I mean, he said he just essentially was part of their ecosystem for the most part. He didn't smell like something foreign or anything. But I mean, and his role was, it's funny because these guys have like,
I feel like you'd almost want to, though.
want to what? Blend in?
No, smell foreign. That jaguar is used to eating the same shit. You know what I
Maybe.
mean? I don't know. Maybe that's why I didn't chew his ass up.
And he talked about how oh gosh, what was I going to say? Oh, fuck, I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, these guys had like sort of similar but contrasting like objectives in their different things. Like the Amazon guy, he was there to essentially preserve, like a guardian, if you will, of the rainforest. And this other guy, he was, yes, trying to protect the Everglades, but in doing so was trying to eradicate these pythons. Was capturing them and killing these pythons to try to, because they were essentially destroying the ecosystem. Yeah, twist top, right? It's a bad sign, but I'm telling you,
When I had
No.
the wrapper, I thought I was going to get the bong, but
No.
I didn't.
no, that's the one weird thing about it. It's a twisty. You're not gonna hate it.
Don't tell me what I'm going to do. Because I might.
You're definitely not gonna hate it. But no, it's just when you sit. Have you ever had a crazy encounter with like any sort of wild animal?
Crazy? No, I mean, the other day I was at work, I had a fucking possum pop out of a drain. I about shit myself, but
The only thing I can think of, I was in grade school, maybe, possibly junior high. Let's just say 4th to 6th grade, somewhere in there. And I was at the bus stop in the morning, and across the road was a cornfield, like a little line of trees, and there was a house, sort of catty corner. And out of the trees across the cornfield comes, it was a coyote, but it was big, and it got to like the yard. It was probably 20 yards away from me, but it just stopped and looked at me. And I had probably a 20, 30-yard run to my front door from where I was. And I remember just standing there, I'm like looking at this thing, and I'm like, what do I do? I'd never seen a coyote in my life, like in person. And I'm like,
but
okay.
you knew it was a coyote? You didn't think it was just a mangy ass dog?
It definitely wasn't a dog. It was, now looking back, I know 100% it was a coyote. And I'm like, okay, do I just stand here and wait? Hopefully it leaves. Do I make a run for the fucking front door? What do I do? Like the bus is probably still a few minutes away. And I just stood there. And I did have a thought in my mind, well, if it starts coming at me, I'm going to have to probably run, maybe. I don't know. I remember like contemplating that though. Like, what do I do in that situation?
I remember one time when I lived in Kentucky, I had a really rough Saturday night. Sunday morning, I'm making my coffee, and I'm just looking out the kitchen window, and there's the most raggedy ass coyote I've ever seen just walking down the middle of the street. Like his night was just as bad as mine. And I'm like, what in the fuck? Because obviously, like behind my neighbors, on the other side of the road was basically all woods, but I'd never seen any fucking coyotes. His ass too, was just fucking strolling down the street.
And that's what's crazy is since then, like every coyote I've ever seen has looked looked rough, man, like bad shape, or at least physically, just mangy, whatever.
They are the Catholics of the animal kingdom. I will tell you that. They fucking get after it.
Now, but the one I saw that morning, man, like it didn't look that, and it was bigger than a lot of coyotes I've seen. I feel like.
So I don't know. He hadn't been in
Maybe
the church
the
long.
king of the coyotes. I don't know.
He might have been. Especially down there, a lot of shit to eat.
Billy wants to know what you're drinking.
Oh, fuck. Evil Williams now.
Evil Williams. You tried it yet?
No.
Take a sip. Take a sip.
No, I'm letting
Come
that
on.
bitch cool down. I ain't fucking getting in that thing hot.
I'm
It's
telling
going to be
you.
bad. It's going to be bad.
I'm
I'll try
telling
it. Fuck
you.
it.
Do it.
$20.
It's not bad. That's what I mean. Like Evan Williams
not-
Bottle and Bond, it's a budget bourbon. It's literally like $20, but it doesn't taste like a $20 bourbon.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
It tastes better than like a Jack Daniels or a Jim Beam for sure.
Everything tastes better than Jack Daniels. I don't even, when people talk about whiskey, that's not even like on my radar. Not.
No.
Beam now, we'll talk, but
No, there's nothing wrong with those in a mix, like a whiskey and Coke or something.
I don't fuck with Jack. I just don't. I don't know. Nope, absolutely not.
Why not?
It fucking almost killed me. We talked about this.
Jack?
Yeah.
I don't remember this story.
I was 14 years old. I like rubbed both my knees off. One point in time, I'm shitting in the toilet, puking in the tub. I mean,
How'd you rub both of your knees off?
well, fuck, my legs just quit.
While walking or what? Like, what were you doing?
I was just quadriplegic on the way to my house. Lost both my kneecaps. It was crazy.
Good Lord.
I chugged an entire bottle of Jim Beam, or Jack Daniels, like it was.
And you think that Jack Daniels is to blame and not
Absolutely,
not your poor
Haven't
judgment?
touched it since.
For me, that's Rumplemints.
Yeah,
Like high school, my buddy was a big Rumplemints fan. It was like his birthday. Got like a few pints of Rumplemints, and like that was my first experience, like
no,
fucking
no mint liquor anymore,
vomiting
or just
profusely.
Rumplemints specifically. I'll fuck with some Rumplemints. I'll do a shit.
Oh, I want to now.
Little gold
Now that
Schlager.
we say that, I feel like at some point in time, like a shot of it has been forced on me at some point in time in my life. But it would not be my first or 10th choice.
I know down at the Cool back in the day, that Goldschlager would go down pretty good.
Yeah,
We'd get after them
I don't
when other people were buying. I never bought them.
know if I ever did. I'm sure I did at some point.
Kyle, he'd serve 'em
Goldschlager.
up.
Would you rather have someone buy you a beer or a shot?
Of their choice,
Yeah, if they're like, hey, we're gonna buy a round, and
and they're choosing.
yeah, they're like, hey, just everybody's next beer's on me, or hey, I want everybody to get a Vegas bomb for everybody in here or something like that.
Man or woman,
What's it matter? What's that
huge
matter?
difference. I'll tell you exactly. The
But I'm not
shot's gonna be
saying, but I'm
completely
not saying what I'm just saying. Would you, without even knowing what the shot is,
Shot. Give me a shot.
you would prefer a shot?
Yeah.
Like, but it could be anything. You don't even know what's gonna be put in front of you.
That's fine.
I
don't
mean,
care.
I think that most people.
What am I
try
trying to
make
do
it-
that evening?
I don't
You know what I mean?
I think
I have
most
a lot of
people try to
questions.
make it something. It's very rare. It's like buy everybody a shot of vodka. It's like usually
You
a
know,
bomb
Washington Apple
or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'll
Of some
get down.
kind, which isn't too bad. Or you know what? You know what I feel like. And now, granted, I don't really go to bars anymore, but that seemed like it got really popular, and now you never hear about it. Is Jaeger bombs?
No, people still fuck with them pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got the chiller machines now. Fuck, you can buy them
Well,
in
yeah,
the
but
store.
they had those 15.
You can buy them in
They
the
had
store
those
now.
15 years ago. I mean, do you still see? Like I said, I don't. You don't go to a lot of bars either. I mean,
No, I don't.
when I
But
don't
the
know.
machine is still there.
Is it? I didn't. I mean,
I go to more bar and grills now because usually I want some grub.
sure.
I don't usually just go out just to drink. It happens, but not very
When's the
often.
last time that you went out just to drink?
Maybe a week or two ago. Me and the old lady.
Yeah.
Close. We had to get close though, because I try to stay real close to that legal limit. I'm not a big Uber guy.
No.
No, I had a couple bad taxi rides when I was fucked up. So
I've heard the tales of the taxi ride. You know what's funny though is it seems like whenever you are in those moments where you've had, I feel like the majority of your moments when you have had way too much to drink are usually like on some of the worst days to have had way too much to drink,
absolutely,
like
yeah.
Christmas Eve,
Oh,
or
buddy,
whatever.
I've had some days, man. It could be raining pussy. I just get hit with the dick. It just happens.
I
Or
feel
for
like
bad luck, I wouldn't have any.
now, I don't know. I feel like it's been a while since I've heard any of those types of stories, but there was definitely I feel like when you worked at the paint store, there would be more of
They
those
happened a lot
types
more.
of stories.
I stopped by there the other day, just kind of hang out. And
Yeah.
shoot the shit. Yeah,
Still a lot of people working there that you knew before, or just mostly the owners
they're
and
starting to pass away, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Little
the
gravy stain gone.
really
R.I.P.
no shit.
I might have to throw some love his way.
Wow, I always,
Oh,
remember
Al
you,
Shabazz. Gone.
I always remember you talking about him.
He was a fucking character, man.
What was his job there?
Just delivery. He wouldn't do anything else.
Right. Well, that was primarily your job too, eventually, wasn't it? Or
Just because the gravy
Or were
stain
you-
was so slow.
or were you just like whatever needed to be done guy?
I can't tell you exactly what my job
Your
title
role.
was.
What? Tell us what you did at the paint store.
I had fucking a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they just kept you in the back, right, away from the customers,
absolutely. Like Quasimodo up in the tower.
right? But you had that place staked out pretty good, though.
Oh, absolutely.
You had a couple hideouts and stuff. That's a cool old building, though, because what was it, 3-4 stories?
Yeah. 4. Little
And
penthouse
most
up on
most
top.
of the upper floors were not used, right? I mean,
Yeah.
because
Lot
wasn't
of-
it like
lot
an
of good
old
places.
bakery or something like that?
Yeah, like 1920s or something.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
A lot of that shit was still in there, the ovens and everything.
Right.
so.
Did you ever cook yourself some lunch in one of the ovens? Or
I cooked myself up there. That's what I did. I'd be higher than fuck in that place, man.
my
I
favorite
loved
thing
it.
was you had like your little nap hideout.
Yep. Yep. And then they tore that bitch apart.
Did they?
Yeah, it was like I'd sleep in the top of this oven. I had a fucking spot there, and then a spot like set up in these shelves. I just go fucking hang out.
So when do you think they figured you out, or
No, I'm gonna do whatever they need me to do when I'm done napping. Just fucking give me a minute. I was ahead of the Chinese. You know what I mean? They take their hour and a half lunch break. It's like I was a fucking visionary. That's all that was.
how often while you worked there did you feel like you were stealing money?
Never, because I didn't make much. So never. I never once felt like I was stealing money.
I remember the days when like I had a job that paid like $8 an hour, and I'm like, I'm doing well. Like
Yeah, we were just fucking stupid.
I'm like, $8 an hour might get a raise to $8.25 here after a few months.
I felt okay about that job until I had my child. You know, and then I was like, I don't feel so great about this
Right.
anymore. So every chance I could, I'd stick it to the man.
Sure,
It's
no,
just best. I mean, that's the best way to be, I guess.
I feel like kind of our heyday a bit was when you were at the paint store and I was slinging produce at the produce company. That was
Yeah.
there's a lot of good ideas discussed over lengthy phone calls.
Oh yeah.
That's where
I had so much free time.
Crossface Wrestling was born, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of cool things. The and always the stories we would have to share of whatever took place the night prior and whoever may have been involved in those stories. No, those were some. It's funny because at the time, it was a good time, but it was also like, I mean,
No, they were good times. They were good times. You can't label it as anything
or maybe
else.
like looking back, you're like, God, life was kind of rough then.
Yeah, they were definitely learning experiences.
But no, it's as they say, it's what's made us into who we are today, which isn't much, but
That's right. Fuck it, something. Got to start somewhere.
and it's funny because I think as we get older now, and obviously we have your son's on the verge of being that age, and we have friends who have kids that age or relatives, and it's like you just kind of laugh, because you know that they're about to go through kind of
Shit's about to get real, real
similar
fast.
stage of life where, and I've said before, I think it's unfair a little bit how at that age you're forced to kind of make a lot of decisions that are going to impact the rest of your life, and in no way, shape, or form are you
Ready.
qualified to make those decisions.
Well, that's where you kind of hope that maybe you've either you've taught it to them or they've seen you go through similar situations where they're like, fuck, that didn't work out so great.
But you know as well as I do that like that don't fucking matter.
Oh,
right?
mine,
I mean, it
mine
matters, but
specifically. He's gonna touch it.
Yeah, I
that
mean-
stove's hot. He's gonna try it out.
I think more often than not, what you see is kids that grew up with like fucking piece of shit parents. They seem to be the ones more likely to be like, all right, look, I'm going to do things differently. Like, I'm not going to live my life that way. And I think you see the opposite where if you have kids that have been given everything and they have like wealthy parents or whatever, and they've had everything given to them, that they assume that once they're out on their own, that life's going to be the same way. And that they kind of crash and burn too in a different way.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point in time, it all has to come full circle.
Sure.
You've got those years where you're trying to learn, trying to find yourself. I was the same fucking way. I didn't have much given to me, but I made a lot of poor choices.
Well, and you were put in a position where, with having basically being what, 18, 19, whatever, and having a child, like, it's kind of, you were sort of thrown into the fire right away. Like, hey, like, got to figure it out. Like, now,
I wouldn't change it. I
No.
wouldn't change it because if he wouldn't have shown up when he did, me, myself, I would be in a very different place today.
sure.
I think he was a good reason to maybe tail back some of the shit I was participating in.
Right. And I'm saying, like, that's, now not everybody reacts to that situation the same way.
Right.
There are people who do not change anything, unfortunately, but, you reacted to it appropriately and had to maybe
like I said,
grow up faster than I did or others, you know?
I think it kept me in check, but not saying he maybe didn't experience some shit at a young age that he didn't need to
Sure.
multiple times.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, in my case, I fucked around when I was 26, 27 years old, like before I got serious about living life. But at the same time, for the most part, my poor decisions didn't really impact anybody other than me, you know what I mean? So it's like, I guess I had that luxury, if that's how you want to look at it.
Yeah,
And
it's definitely not easier. It's just different.
yeah. And yeah, in hindsight, it's like, man, imagine where I'd be now if I'd fucking got serious about things sooner. But then again, you think of like, okay, like, but maybe I would have missed out on different experiences that were really impactful in some different way. Like,
Yeah, I think about it and I think about, man, what if I would have started off differently? But unfortunately, it changes the outcome. And, maybe my kids aren't here, or, so as much as I like to think back and wish I would have got started sooner on doing something, I would never, ever change.
yeah. Hey, Billy, all you got to do is if you're watching this on YouTube, there should be somewhere to share. Like if you're going to share a video and send it to a friend on YouTube, you should be able to do it the same way. Or if If it's on Facebook, same deal. Just share and you can send it to them. Like I said, just like if you were going to send a video that you saw on either platform to someone, it should work the same way. I think.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
So, no, I think that, no, you're right. And I don't know, it's just it's a very like, and I remember like Fox telling us at one point in time, he's like, oh, your 30s are way better than your 20s. And I tell you what,
won't
looking back, I
disagree.
don't disagree either, because it's like your 20s, you don't know shit, right? Like, and don't get me wrong, that makes it fun in ways, but like you have no life experience for the most part, and you're out there in the world, right?
We're staring down the barrel of 40, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not ready for this motherfucker to tail off.
But I've heard people even say that 40 is better than 30, man.
Okay,
Like,
that's where I'm.
because think
that's
about
where
it.
I'm headed.
Like, I think once you hit 30 or so, like in most cases, you're in a position where, okay, you've had a decade of like the real world. Like
Right.
you get how shit works. You've made your mistakes. Like,
Hopefully,
you know, like let's say like even in the drinking realm, like you know, like by now I'm the type of person like, okay, like I can tell, like when I was in my 20s, fuck, I just drank. And then like all of a sudden you're fucking puke drunk and you're like, where now it's like you can, you have a better sense of shit like that. You can keep yourself out of bad situations.
as soon as you start leaning, you're like,
Yeah.
fuck it. All right.
And then as you get older, obviously, you have the benefit of life experience, and you're typically by that point in your life making a little bit more money, right? So you can
you can play a little more.
you can spend your money to do spend your
Experience shit
money
you
more
haven't seen.
wisely,
No,
like do
no,
things.
no.
I mean wisely in the sense of like what's worth spending money on and what isn't at that point in time.
No, I would say by then you've learned you pay yourself first. You get them bills out of the way. Then you can play. You know what I mean? Have fun. Enjoy life.
Sure. And I think that's just it, man. Like, and I think that really that as you get from 30s into 40s, it's the same thing, just maybe like better.
Scaled up.
Yeah.
Scaled up.
Now, I mean, maybe once you hit 50, maybe you turn the corner a little bit. I don't know. I mean, but even
don't want to.
even these days, 50s isn't
I don't want to,
old. Like,
man.
depending on if you're taking care of yourself, like 50's
fucking,
not.
that fucking grave, man. I want to slide head first into that motherfucker. I don't want to be one of those people that's like stuck at home for, you know what I mean? And
Sure.
just die. Like,
Right.
that sounds awful. I want to fucking die the same way I lived, trying to have a good fucking time.
No.
That's how I want to go out.
That's how it should be.
A lot of people don't want to, though.
I don't think that it's people don't want to. Almost as people don't know how, maybe, or they feel like they're not capable sometimes.
Well, how are you not capable? You know what I mean?
I think there's this weird dilemma that people end up in where you have
You're afraid.
you have what like internally like you want to do, but then like there's this block that happens between like mentally I want to be going out, experiencing things, living my life, but physically I just feel like I cannot motivate myself to do these things. I think that we talk about, not that I don't think that mental health is something that's more prevalent now, like, or depression, whatever. I don't think it's more prevalent now, but I think it's just more acknowledged now and accepted. And I think that's something, especially you got to think, man, if you're in a situation where you're getting older, your body's breaking down in different ways, like I think that it can take a toll on a person.
Right.
I mean,
at what point in time do you like change in your mind that fuck it, I'm going to do something
well,
about
I
it? You know what I mean?
totally understand that. Like,
You have the choice.
oh, sure. Absolutely. But I think that a lot of times people know that, but they don't believe in themselves. They're afraid of failure. They don't believe in themselves to take that step because they're like, well, I'm going to try, but I'm just going to I'm going to quit or fail anyways. So
I'll just
let's
sit
save
here and
myself
die.
the fucking trouble.
Fuck that. I don't
I don't think they think of it like I'm just going to sit here and die,
Well,
but
the get busy living or get busy dying.
Right.
Like that's what you're doing. Have fun. And I ain't even saying you got to fucking go out and do all this crazy shit. Whatever you're into,
Right.
Find something you're into. Fucking do it.
Right.
Love it. Have a good time.
Yeah. I mean, stimulate your mind, right? Stimulate your mind, your body,
Absolutely.
whatever. And I do think that as long as you keep your mind stimulated, the rest kind of follows in a way. Like,
If you're engaged with anything in life,
right. Because your body's going to
Stay
break down over
engaged.
time regardless. I mean, eventually.
Yeah.
Now, you
Fuck
can
'em.
do things to push it off.
I've already told you. I've told you. I've told you. I've told you. I've told these people. I'm gonna be 15 the rest of my fucking life.
Right.
When I die,
Yeah.
it's gonna say 15 on my obituary.
Sure. But I mean, like, your body is going to deteriorate. It's just the way the world works. It's science, whatever. But, like, I think that if you can keep your mind stimulated in some way, that it could lead to, not necessarily lead to a longer life, but lead to a more fulfilling life.
What would you just say?
If you
I
keep
missed
your
that part.
if you keep your mind stimulated.
Absolutely, man. My great grandma was like 99 when she passed away. She answered any fucking thing you had till the day she died.
Yeah.
That's because she stayed in the loop. She was old school. You know what I mean? If something was broke, you fixed it. Go to work every day. You know what I mean? She was a tough fucking woman.
Well, you know, you've heard the whole thing that you hear now, like, tough times make tough people,
Absolutely.
tough, you know, or hard people, whatever. Hard people make soft times.
Soft
Soft times make soft people.
We're in the soft people
and we're in
generation.
that-
Absolutely.
We're in that loop of soft people, and it's not. I get it. It makes sense, right? I mean, we've for the last 40 years, like, existence in our country at least has been pretty fucking positive, and to, you know, on a large scale, I mean, you can pinpoint different things that have been less than desirable, but, like, on a large scale, you could say that Americans have lived pretty good lives for the last 40 years. We haven't been in war. I mean, well, I should say we haven't been in war. That's a lie. But,
Not
you know, we
Not
haven't
like
lived
we
in
were
like
previously.
the era of like Vietnam and like where drafts and shit like that, where you had people being sent to war against their will and everything else.
We've had enough people step up that you get to live comfortably.
Sure. And we could do a conversation for another day, debate on like, are those people properly taken care of? You know, obviously the answer is no, but I understand that the whole theory that, you know, soft times make soft people. You know, I mean, if
That's where we are right now.
There's a
Everybody's
lot- yeah.
fucking offended by everything. I mean,
there's a lot
Ugh,
of
I hate it.
countries around the world where like you go to bed at night like not knowing what you're gonna wake up to in the morning, or where you're constantly under attack in some way, shape, or form, or whatever.
there's
I mean, and
plenty
that
of
doesn't
people.
exist here.
There's plenty of people that do live in that situation here, and they're not fucking as offended about everything as a lot of the other people are.
What do you mean?
There's plenty of children going to sleep tonight that don't know what they're waking up to.
Sure.
You know, you heard that fucking song on TikTok, the one I sent you the other day. That rich man north of Richmond, guy with a big old red beard, looks like
Yeah.
Ginger Jesus out in
Sure.
the woods. You got to listen to that fucking song. Oliver Anthony. That shit will never get played on the radio because he's speaking truth.
Sure.
People don't enjoy truth.
Yeah. Oh, and I think we're like, and speaking of that, I mean, we are certainly on the verge of, I think, things shifting, like from this decades of comfort to
Hardship.
discomfort,
Yeah.
for a lot of different reasons. And what's going to make it worse is that the vast majority of us are not mentally, physically equipped to handle a world that looks like that.
No,
You know what
that
I
we're
mean?
not
Like-
that far removed from.
No, and we've talked about it on other episodes, like, you know, power grid and goofy shit like that. But I mean, fuck, I'll tell you right now, like, I'm someone who's like very aware of the possibility, but I don't like. I am not prepared for that to happen. You know, I don't have emergency supply of you know, I don't like, I don't have these different things in place for when this takes place at some point in time. Like, I imagine that the vast majority of people don't.
Let's talk a little bit about Hawaii. Okay. I'm going to throw a little conspiracy out there. I think there's a big part of Maui that has been owned by indigenous people of Hawaii for a very long time that would not come off of it. Now, they have volcanoes, all sorts of shit in Hawaii, right? When have you ever seen a wildfire the size of what, I mean, basically has wiped this motherfucker out.
Sure.
Don't you think a volcano would do the same?
It depends. It depends. I mean,
Right.
on how
But
bad I think.
If shit catches on fire, if it spread like it did this time, you think it would do the same, right?
Right.
I believe there's a large part of that island, like I said, owned by indigenous people that would never sell off.
And so they're pushing them out, you're saying.
When you wipe the slate clean, what's it worth now?
Sure. I wouldn't put it past our government.
You
like,
willing to? Not even. I ain't even saying the fucking government. Maybe some of those investors that's always wanted that beachfront property.
Well, but who do you think they're backed by? Like,
That's all they see it as is
Sure.
beachfront property. Those
Right.
people, this is their homeland. This
right.
is
Oh, it's similar to like it's just a very
reservations.
yes, it's a very small situation of what happened to Native Americans, right? I mean,
right.
same type of thing.
And I don't know, man. The more I see it, I'm
Now,
like,
I'll say this, and I know you
Seems
are
sketch.
I know you're a big supporter, advocate, whatever you want to call it, for like Native Americans, and that like whatever they had was stolen from them, and I do agree.
oh man,
You know,
anybody that wants to bitch and argue,
but
they got
those-
fucked harder than anybody
But
else.
the thing is, though, they were doing the same thing that white men did to them, to each other. You know, taking territory, raping and pillaging each other, whatever. And
I think
this,
at the
you know,
time that was like the.
but
that
I'm
was
saying
the
like
trend.
it's all that happened is just, you know, when the U.S. military came in, they had bigger guns, right? I mean, then that's
right.
so they were.
Doesn't make it any.
I'm not saying, but I
better,
mean, like
But yeah,
it's not something. It's not like now. I'm sure there were tribes that lived peaceful lives, but doesn't mean that they were impervious
There
to
was.
other tribes
was. And
invading them or attacking
they
them.
probably got invaded first.
And you know, so what happened to them, while tragic, is not any different than what they were already doing to each other. It just happened on a larger scale by a more powerful entity,
Yeah,
in a way. But that doesn't make it right.
erased a lot of that fucking history.
Right.
Some of them
And- well,
tribes
and it doesn't-
completely wiped out. Man.
Sure, and I'm not.
They don't exist
I'm not
anymore.
I'm not justifying it by
Just
any means.
just
but-
like Illinois, the Kaskaskia, Cahokia.
right.
Find,
And that's
find one of them cats.
Sure.
Gone. You know, some of those, that's kind of going back in time, but
Well, did you know that out in front of Route 29, in front of Cat Mossville, there are literally like
Those
2 or 3
mounds?
like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I think about it. Now I don't drive that way to work now because the bridge is out, but like, I drive by there, you know, and there almost every day I just see those things. And I'm like, God, like think about like what this would have looked like 300 years ago or whatever it was, right? And
you wouldn't be safe in your
What-
Silverado.
no, or then you think, what would those people think if they could see this now? You know, like just
You really fucked up.
like,
Don't you think?
well, and then you think of just that area in general. Like you went from what was probably like beautiful, like grasslands right on the river, everything
Probably
else,
didn't flood back then.
and now you're literally on the very land that you're buried on is one of the largest manufacturers of machinery in the world, you know, with multiple factories and right on a 4-lane divided highway. And it's just like it is a total contradictory of like the way that life was lived there once upon a time.
yeah, absolutely.
And I get that's just one, but I'm sure there are other instances of that, especially as you go west, where you see the same thing. Now, the west is still mostly,
It's pretty desolate.
yeah.
You got your pockets of your
So
larger
you could
cities,
probably
but-
see things that looked pretty much the same as they did back then. But like, I mean, not that there weren't tribes on the East Coast, because there certainly were.
Are you talking about the Asians?
What?
I guess that was the
No.
West Coast. That was San Francisco.
No. Hey, Mike, what's up, man? No, I just saw Mike up there. Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. I mean, and I get that's just maybe you could just write that off as well. Hey, that's just evolution, man. That's just the way the world goes, and someday that'll be us, I guess. I mean, maybe someday the cemeteries, once the aliens come back, right? They'll be like, hey,
How long before they put white people on reservations?
who
Probably
knows?
pretty soon, huh?
I don't
You
know.
think so?
The
You
German,
think Warren
the,
Buffett
the
hang
Germans
out out?
tried. I mean,
Yeah.
there's different white people, I guess, but maybe one day once the aliens take over, like cemeteries will be the equivalent of these burial mounds that exist. Like hey, here's where the.
Speaking of cemeteries, you're fucking punk ass. We got to do it.
But it's never like it's not
We
that
gotta
you
do
act
it.
like the only
We
thing that's
gotta do
you
it. No,
act
that's
as if
exactly what
no,
it is.
You act as if the only thing that stood in the way of that is my
Air and opportunity.
my
Air and opportunity.
hesitancy.
Motherfucker already told you I'll buy the mics. We'll go do it. Old Salem, we're gonna do it. Ouch! She called you out.
That's true.
You're
I mean,
basically a Hitler
the
supporter.
Germans put a lot of people on what you could consider to be reservations.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
I'm just saying. I'm sure maybe you're a little conflicted with your German heritage over there, but
Not as much as I thought, man. Have you ever done the ancestry thing?
no. And that's usually
I'm way more Scottish and English than I ever would have thought.
I have not. One of my dad's sisters did, and my dad assumed obviously that his would be the same as hers, right?
Right.
And like
You should.
my dad always said that
You should do it.
he
It's
assumed that we had a lot of American Indian, and
Yeah.
no, like next to none.
Yeah.
Same as you. A lot of like German, you're just European in general.
Absolutely.
The funny part is though
Very white.
The funny part is there was a percentage on there of
Swahili?
no, it was like specifically like the Mandingo tribe or
Yes. Okay.
which I know which part of me is that. So
Yes, from the belly button up. That must be the tribe that the larger the belly, the more.
yeah, that tribe, the more prestigious.
Yes. Oh fuck. Shaka Zulu would be so mad at you.
No, but it's when you I think that sometimes it's easier to like just wander through like life almost blissfully ignorant to like what's really going on, because I think if you really go down the rabbit hole on some of this stuff, like you freak yourself the fuck out, because I don't know that I mean, like part of me is like, I want to know the truth. Like what's going on, who's in power, who's in control, what do they know? But like, God damn, like, do you really want to know that? Like, because
The frightening story is if we ever could just fucking take our heads out of our asses, you know who could be in control? The people.
sure, well,
But
and
we
that's
fucking piss it away.
well, and that's what's crazy. That's
fighting
that's
about
literally
stupid bullshit stuff.
that's
every
literally
fucking day.
that's how this country was created, right? Is the people
Got
stood
tired.
up and said, "That's enough."
You
Like,
feed me shit so long, eventually, what do I usually say? You enjoy the taste. Right now, we enjoy the taste. That's the bad part.
yeah,
At some point in time, you got to be like, you know what? Fucking it's enough. I'm done.
I think there's too many people that rely on the system though
Fuck that system.
to
A little bit.
to push back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not even
Change
talking.
it.
And I'm not
Change
even
the
talking
system.
about like. I'm not even talking about
Yeah.
like welfare specific. But I mean, just
I
in
think that's
different
what you
ways.
were
No,
talking about.
I'm saying just in different ways. And there's people just that rely on the system working as it's designed, for their comfort or whatever. I mean, and let's talk at the
that
higher
system
levels,
could still
like
work, and
at
it
the-
could work in our fucking favor.
at the higher levels, you have the people that work the system for their financial benefit in different ways, and those people are the people that probably could have the inside track to changing things won't, because they benefit from the current system too much.
Right. But who works for their companies?
Yeah.
Us.
Well,
Right.
but the thing is if
you just can't
but-
ever get enough people to do one thing. That's the
that's
the
just
issue.
it. Like if you're like, I've had enough, and you choose to not put up with X company anymore, they don't give a shit, because there's 100 people behind you that will.
That's fine. That's what I'm saying. You can't get enough of people to make a conscious decision to tell them to get fucked.
Yeah.
Which I did. I'm looking forward to this little vacation I got. I'm going to the Dells Not next week, but the week after.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great.
But you have to tell the listeners how you like after last time you vowed to never return to the state of Wisconsin, and here you are. It's the power of love.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that little pussy control. But
Fucking Hank is trying to make an escape, man. He's just been crawling towards the top of that tank the whole
it's you.
time.
It's your voice. I'm looking forward to that Moose Jaw place. I love that. That's about the only thing I got going up there. I can get fuck less about the water.
You guys book your room yet?
Yep.
Where are you staying?
Wilderness.
There you go.
Steps away from the swim up bar. So
There you go, man.
I walk out my hotel room right into the swim up bar, and I got a wet bar in the room. So fuck
You're gonna
'em.
dig it, man.
I know
think
I am.
you're gonna like it a lot more than Mount Olympus. Guaranteed.
Yeah. It was ghetto.
That's where we've been 2-3 times. We stay there every time.
Yeah.
It's good times.
I don't know. You hear some people the Africa place, Kalahari or whatever.
Kalahari's good
Huge
too.
fan.
Yeah.
Noah's Ark. Everybody's like, that's the best park there is there. Just size.
I thought I heard
and
something
shit
that
in
like I thought they had some issues. Like
Yeah.
they shut part of it down or something. I don't know.
Everywhere's got fucking issues, but everybody has their own fucking opinion too. So,
So you're going what next week?
24th.
Okay.
But I think we're gonna leave on that Wednesday and maybe go
Nice.
to like Kenosha,
Okay.
stay there for the night, and then drive.
It's like total. Because in Kenosha over on the lake.
Yeah, it's basically just right across the border.
Yeah. Why is it just cause?
I don't want to hang around. I don't want to
You
make.
gotta go through Chicago to get to Kenosha.
Yeah, I don't want to make the 5-hour fucking trip Thursday morning, so Wednesday
It
night.
would take fucking 5 hours to get there.
What?
Like from my house, it's maybe 3, and from here, what 4?
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Then I'm gonna ride 3 hours. I'm gonna take a 1-hour trip in the morning right to the fucking place and swimming. Because what usually happens, Dad drives the whole fucking time,
Sure.
and then by the time I get there, I'm like, "Fuck, just let me chill out." And everybody wants to swim. Everybody wants to do every fucking thing, and I'm like, "Go do it. Just leave me alone."
Right.
You know. So
Well, and the good part is that your kids are about the age
I
where
don't want to be grumpy dad.
you don't gotta fucking worry about it. Like,
Yeah, the little one, you gotta fucking
Sure.
worry about it.
sure.
She's a fucking dictator right now.
Right. No, that's a good place, man. I think you'll enjoy yourself. You gotta go to. Are you gonna be on the weekend?
What?
You gonna be there over the weekend?
Wednesday through Saturday,
Yeah. You're leaving Saturday, or you're leaving Sunday.
Sunday.
So Saturday morning, get up and go to
That fucking diner.
Paul Bunyan's. Go to Paul Bunyan's.
I'm not fucking going
No,
to
do
eat
it.
flapjacks.
No,
Get
dude.
the fuck out of here.
So I
I hate pancakes.
No, listen.
I hate pancakes.
Give me a little splash.
I don't smoke weed, so I don't
I
eat pancakes.
I had the same concern that it was like gonna be this gimmicky thing.
It is.
It's not. Like you get in there now. They pack people in there like crazy. I'll tell you that. But like the service was quick. You sit like a picnic table, basically made of wood.
Asshole to belly button with
But-
strangers.
But no, you'd be with your family. It'd be like a table this size. That you all would be at one table. But
That's
they
a really
serve it.
small fucking picnic.
They serve
table.
it family style. So you get like a plate of pancakes, biscuits, gravy,
That's what I'm
eggs,
saying, but
bacon. It's all family style.
Bill over here is fucking pulling off my stack.
No,
or what?
no, it's just your group.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just your group. No, it's just your little table of people.
So if I
You're
bring
not
a
so-
family of 5 or a family of 12, do I pay
You're-
a different bill? What's going on?
I think
here?
it's per person,
okay.
and
I'm still
it's
not
per
going.
person.
I'm not going.
they serve Bloody Marys and
they
mimosas and stuff.
cut wood while I'm fucking eating.
No, I think
Log
they do have a
rolling and
thing
shit?
outside where they have like a lumberjack show, but I don't know. But that's not in the
You
morning.
can't eat your bacon while
I don't
it's
think so.
fuck it.
But no, man, it's like the food was good. It wasn't stupid expensive. You got and like you could just get refills on stuff. Like you eat whatever, bring me more of this, bring me more of that. It was almost like a buffet at your table.
I'm gonna go to Nig's Bar.
What'd you say?
Nig's Bar. I'm gonna do that haunted bar crawl or whatever. I wanted to do it last time, but this time I'm gonna do it. Fuck them. Because they're gonna drive me around and tell me ghost stories while I'm drinking
Yeah,
beers.
Rachel was like, her and my dad were looking at that one time we were up there.
I'm gonna
checking
do
it out.
Fuck it. I don't care.
Well, they have like a boat ride that goes up to like
Do
it's
they
like a
have beer
ghost
on the
tour.
boat ride?
I don't think so.
Okay, fuck it. I'm doing the bar crawl then.
Do we see Twitter comments? I don't know.
They should. It would show a little birdie.
Scroll down. Is there any more? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. If somebody was talking on Twitter, it'd pop up or
Yeah.
Facebook or YouTube.
But
No, doing that haunted bar crawl. I looked at it last time. I looked at it pretty hard. Old lady wasn't in. I was like, fuck it, I'll go. I'll catch a trolley myself. I'm a
Sure.
independent man. But I didn't go. So this
You ever
time
seen
I have
those-
to fucking do it.
Have you ever
I'm
seen the
like,
videos of
holy shit.
those jet boat rides on the river?
up there?
Yeah.
I'll give him a pull.
Yeah. It's like this big jet
You
boat.
saying the
with-
wind boat? Or are you saying like
It's a
legit
jet boat.
Like
It's a jet
standing
boat.
up
It's got rows of people. I mean, it's probably got 10 rows. You
with the
sit
fucking
across.
fan or no fan?
No, it's not a fan boat. It's got jet engines on the
Okay.
back. A guy sits in the back.
On Lake
And,
Delton.
No, it's on the Wisconsin River, which
Okay.
runs it. But like, they literally, I'll show you a video when we're done. But like,
There's
they'll go up and
there's
they
a
get by the
titty-ass
dam.
Mexican place that we ate right there.
They get up by the dam, and they fucking hit a 360 in the water in that fucking boat, dude. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Like,
Motherfucker, I can't swim great. So
yeah. I'm sure you signed a
don't be
waiver.
trying to do this to me.
You could do one of the duck boats. Those are the ones that drive into the water.
We did that. We're supposed to go out and see some shit. We did one in Florida that was pretty cool, actually.
Those
we
jet
went out-
boats
we
are
went out
pretty badass.
Fed dolphins and stuff. That was cool.
Like the most popular one, I think, is called like the Wild Thing or something like that. They play fucking loud ass music while they're screaming you down the river.
I'd be cool with that. The kids all be like, "Ah."
Kate
But yeah,
do
if
it.
we're playing Ricky Vaughn the whole way down, I'd be kidding me.
Yeah, no,
I can't wear my hoochie daddy shorts.
You could
be all bone.
You should
Just be
Be
all bone.
bone the whole time.
Fuck.
You probably fit right in, man.
No, I'm gonna have a good time. I hope it's nice and sunny.
Yeah.
But if it's not, swim up bars inside. So fuck them. I don't care.
And so the bar, when you go in,
The
like
seats
now,
are in the water. I
now
seen
not
it.
all
It's
of them. Now,
fucking
so
weird.
so it's weird. Like you can walk down like stairs and go to the bar like dry,
I'm jumping
or
the fuck in.
they have a pool that's like a 3-foot deep pool. You can get
Perfect
in and
for
hang out.
me.
And
I
it's got
can't
little
drown.
stools in the water that are right up at the bar too.
Absolutely.
So if you don't want to get in the pool but you want a beer, you can still get a beer without going in the water to
my
hang out.
wet bar better
But-
be stocked.
But it won't be stocked.
What?
No way.
Bitches, I paid
No.
extra $40. There better be
doubt it.
$40 worth of liquor in there.
I don't know. You have to look at what your setup was, but I doubt it.
Did you get the wet bar?
No,
Brad?
I did not. But
I'm gonna send you pictures. That motherfucker's gonna be. I'm gonna be sipping on Jose Cuervo.
I now one thing you'll have to they do have a sign. And I think they even have a person like you have to be 21 to get into the pool of the swim up bar.
Yeah,
So
Absolutely.
that's good for you because your kids can't chase you in there. But
I don't want them in there anyway.
Right.
Fucking send
I
them to the
think-
wave pool.
I think it even has one of those little things where you can go outside, inside, and that in the same little pool.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So you'll be right at home.
I hope so.
That's in the Wild Water Dome where the wave pool is.
I don't know nothing about that. It's got the big tidal wave thing.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of those.
Well, it's not like
That's about
the
it.
Mount Olympus one.
That's as close as I get to drown ever in my life.
But
so.
that's where the wave pool, and they have a little kiddie area right next
the
to it.
Mount
So you'll be
Olympus
set
one
up.
is titties.
It is. That's like dangerous.
I love it.
I've seen those videos.
Fuck. I've never been tied up in so many Mexicans when the fucking Poseidon comes through. It's like you're crowd surfing at fucking Santana.
They
concert.
screaming
It's
like-
crazy.
Viva la Poseidon!
No, it was good times. That's probably my favorite part of the whole place.
Yeah.
Is that and that sketchy ass roller coaster that goes under
Under
the
the
parking
parking
lot?
lot?
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of roller coasters, did you see? I'm sure you saw a couple years ago, like the Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point. Like they shut it down because, like,
Got stuck.
no, it like
Right in
on
the
the way
horseshoe?
back,
Something came off?
a part flew off, hit a lady in the head, like fucked her up bad.
Destroyed her. Yeah.
So it shut down at that point, and now they've reimagined it.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's still mostly set up the same. They just released it, so you're gonna launch at 60 something
still
miles
rock
an
the
hour,
horseshoe?
go up,
60.
come back,
should do
go
a
up a
$1.20.
spike, and then go back and up and over. and around.
Fuck that. That's
So yeah, I thought the best part
do a
was the
$1.20,
launch,
yeah.
right? Like, you're gonna get to a $1.20 after you come back up, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna go that fast to get up and over,
Right.
but you don't get that 0 to whatever
Yeah,
anymore.
that was the best part. I'd
I'd
say
like to go back there again. It's been a bit. I probably need to shed a few LBs though, so I can fit on a few of them roller
the
coasters.
first time me and Don and Boy did it, man, we sat there and we watched it a couple times, and we're both like, we're not crazy about heights.
You ain't up there for very long,
No, you're not. You're fucking.
but it does kind of creep over that fucking hump. But
and then right back. But Yeah, I love roller coasters, even though I'm a huge pussy about it.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Because we went a couple years ago, and none of the kids were old enough to really ride anything. But like we did.
A lot of
ride-
people said that Kings Island,
This Kings Island
real
supposed to be the
close, and
shit.
it says titties. Yeah,
And it's owned by the same company that on
Right.
Cedar Point. It's a nicer park from what I understand. Like my cousin Alex and Zach, like they're roller coaster like enthusiasts, and they went on like a little fucking. They went to Cedar Point, Kings Island. They went on like a little like 2-week tour.
Six
Just the
Flags.
two of them. They went.
Right.
They went there. They went out east to like maybe Busch Gardens and Williamsburg. They went to Hershey Park. They went down to Tampa to Busch Gardens and shit. And they said that Kings Island it's just a really nice park, the way it's set up, everything. So it's in Cincinnati. It's about the same distance as going to Cedar Point from
What
here.
I'm hoping for the Dells is being school is back in by the time we
Should
set
be
up.
a little
Fuck
quiet. Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be.
I hate when it's packed.
Yeah, because the first time we went in like late September, and yeah, it was pretty quiet, man. Now the outdoor water parks were closed because I think they closed like Labor Day,
Mm-hmm.
but all the inside shit's plenty, and yeah, it was nice. And then the last couple times we've gone, it's been a little busier, but it's been like we went for like a week the first time.
Right.
And like during the week, especially, it wasn't shit. The last couple times, it's been weekend trips, so a little busier.
As busy as it's gonna be. Yeah. Yeah, that's my hopes. I don't know.
My beef when I go anywhere, whether it's fuck man, and I get it's just like the nature of like popular places are gonna have a lot of people. Period.
Absolutely. That's why you're
But
there.
like, but for some reason, dude, it like chaps my ass so bad. Like I just have this heightened awareness all the time of like people around me and how they're behaving. And when I just see people that just appear to suck, like, God, you fucking piece of shit. Like people like when we talked about when we went to Milwaukee, like the fucking people that left the hotel pool a fucking mess. Like, or you go up there and you see a group of people at a table next to you, like when you sit there at the Wilderness and like they leave and they just leave their shit trashed or whatever. Like that fucking
Right.
stuff drives me nuts. I don't know why.
It doesn't matter though.
But I get it. I mean, yeah, it does
I make
not.
my
It
fucking
does
kids
not
pick up.
impact me. But like, I'm just like, how much could you suck? Like that you just have no fucking respect for anything.
Most of these people are like, well, I paid $300 to
No.
be here. I'm gonna leave all my shit everywhere. Fuck you.
No,
That's not
fuck
my job.
that.
The guy walking around, he feels the same way.
Yeah.
I'm here to make sure you don't drown. Your kids aren't assholes.
Yeah,
Throw your shit away. Not my fucking
like
deal.
their job is to just come to the table, wipe off any debris, and make it good for the next person. Like
Right.
it's not. They shouldn't have to throw all your fucking garbage away. Like, you know, that's what kills me. Is I'm just like, God damn it, people! Like, have some fucking respect.
They don't.
No.
They don't.
And I
It's
let
very
it bother me like on a cellular level sometimes. Like,
Most of those people, when I see that shit, I'm like, God, I can only imagine what your house looks like.
I don't know if that's even like a fair.
It is.
'Cause
No,
the-
it absolutely
You think
is.
so? Because I
Oh,
bet
yeah.
I bet there's people like you said that they think that since they're somewhere else that it's someone else's responsibility. And I think about like when we coached wrestling, what did we always fucking tell those kids? Like, you leave it better than you found it. Like
That's-
if we sat in an
That's
area of
for
the bleachers,
everything in life.
yeah, whatever. But I'm saying like that's it. Like if we sat in a section of the bleachers or whatever, like hey, like this fucking area better be just as clean as it was or cleaner than when we showed up. Like pick up your shit, take care of yourself, have some responsibility. And same thing, like the buses, we'd get back on the bus, like clean up the fucking bus. Like
Right.
that's not the bus driver's job to clean up your fucking trash off the
They were
floor.
here to drive your ass.
Yeah.
Safely.
And that stuff always fucking chaps my ass.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of people are dirtbags. And I don't care how fucked up you are, whatever the case may be. That really has no relevancy.
Sure.
If you're too drunk to clean up after yourself, you're just
Like
too
even
fucking
in a
drunk. Go
hotel
home.
room, I get you're gonna have garbage, but at least have it in like a fucking pile. At least have it in like one spot, right? Like I
Those
get
are
that
tiny cans. I'll
they
give 'em
are
that.
tiny cans, but at least like have
So
it
you're
by the fucking garbage can or something. Like
You're filling the box back up. I mean, there's all sorts of things. You never know in a hotel room. That's a fucking
All
wild
bets are
card,
off.
son.
All bets are off.
That Tom Segura skit, he talks about like fucking defiling a hotel room. Absolutely. I'm all on board with that. I just hope they clean it for the next person because God knows what took place.
Well, I mean, I've come across goofy like TikToks or whatever where they talk about people like work at hotels and they're like, yeah, like people die in hotel rooms all the time or commit suicide, and like they basically just change the sheets and move on to the next person. And I'm like, I always think about that shit, man. Like when I'm in a hotel room, I'm like, oh, I wonder if anybody's ever
someone
died in
died.
this room. Whatever. And
more
it's
ways than one.
like, literally or spiritually.
Spiritually, yeah. It happens.
Oh,
5 for 5. What do you think?
you're like over the. Move your little mouse there. What we got?
Liv says she loves Tom Segura.
Tom Segura is great.
He is. He's very good.
His show with Bert Kreischer is pretty funny. Like Two Bears, One Cave, or whatever. But
Yeah, they are a great connection.
what's funny is he was on a podcast by himself, I think, recently, and they asked him like, does Bert have any like, do you have any like pet peeves about Bert? And he was going on about like, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was because he kind of came off a couple that drive him crazy about Bert, and it was I think one was like he said that sometimes like he treats people like, let's say like on their podcast, like workers that'll treat people kind of shitty, and he'll be like, hey man, like you don't fucking know what like they got going on, and be like, oh shit, I'm sorry, like whatever. But the funniest thing I think about Bert Kreischer is that he, out of all the people you see in the public eye, he is the most public alcoholic that's in denial of being an alcoholic.
Oh,
Like-
I'm not sure
like-
he's an alcoholic. Maybe.
Which is pretty funny. What'd she say there? I got to read that real quick.
She's seen Bert twice.
Some people suck. It's true. A lot of people suck. Honestly. I was thinking that as I was driving here, dude. I'm like, I feel like people have got worse at driving.
You gotta fucking get over that, man.
I
Maybe
know,
you just
like,
need
for
to
my
get in front
own-
of people. Stop driving behind people. Drive faster
No, dude,
than
like,
everybody
I'm
else.
just,
so you're in
I'm
front
just like
of them.
south of town, like heading out of town. Car coming at me, like hits the shoulder, rocks flying up. I'm like, what the fuck?
Not towards you though.
No, it was-
Rocks
they
are
were
flowing
coming-
up the other
But
fucking
I'm like,
direction.
because he's like some old guy.
Exactly.
Like, what the
Maybe
fuck?
he had a couple fucking Beamers. He's just trying to get home.
You know, it's just there's so
Why are you
many.
coming at my guy?
Look,
All
I
right,
tell you
this
what,
ain't bad.
I told you it ain't bad, dude. Like
Keep talking. Shut up.
for $20, dude, like that stuff is legit.
Yeah.
And like
I'm not gay, but $20.
it's
is
$20. Like
Not in the face. Money up.
we'll
front.
have to have Liv ask her dad. I know her dad's right. He's a bourbon connoisseur. I'll see if he's into the Evan Williams bottled in bond.
I don't know.
It is. I'm
Does
telling you.
Matthew doesn't drink very much, does he, Liv? I don't think so.
I thought you were. Or excuse me. No, who? Yeah. Who is it? Who is it?
No.
Who's the drinker?
Troy.
Troy. Sorry, my bad. Troy. Is he a bourbon guy?
Yeah. Matthew.
Okay.
Matthew more
Sorry.
of a
My bad. So. Yeah,
see?
you're right. My fault. So Troy, let's find out if Troy is an Evan Williams bottled and bond fan. All things considered, though, like cheap, but for as cheap as it is,
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
it tastes they don't taste like any evil
It's
Williams
not.
I
It's
ever
not
had
rock
before.
gut whiskey by
No.
any means. No.
Yeah, they fucking stepped their game up once the white people started paying. Here today, white label. Look at
Exactly.
that. Fuck. That's all it took. 5 for 5, Brad. How do you
So-
feel about it?
So you want to do 5 favorite episodes?
5 favorite episodes.
So naturally, there may be some overlap here.
Out
but
of
I think
100,
that's-
I'm not going to. I'm not going to. So you better not either.
Okay,
We can pick 10 out of 100.
maybe. You want to go first?
I do.
You go first. Okay, number 5.
Number 5, he should be higher on my list just because of I love this man. I love him more than probably any comedian ever. The first time I listened to this guy, I was like listening to him when I was a child was like the first time you got the Playboy Channel to come in. That's Richard fucking Pryor, man.
That was a good one.
I love, not even so much the episode. I love him, and I love his tie to where we're from. That's ours. Well, you know, fucking, we own it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got a statue of him in fucking Peoria. I'm pretty sure they got a street named after him. They got his picture at the Jukebox Comedy Club.
That's right. I love him. I love everything about him. I love how he did shit. Fuck everybody. He pushed limits long before a lot of people did. And comedy would not be where it's at without him. That was a huge one. I huge fan. Like I said, should be higher on my list, but I wanted to get it out there.
Sure.
I felt it. Like, I love the seedy part. Like, in the beginning, we're talking about the whorehouses, like where he was raised. The rags to riches thing, man. I love it. Love everything about it.
Let's see here. I am for number 5. Let's see. It's tough because there's a few I know I want to take, but they'd probably be higher. I tell you what, this is one I've always liked, was when we did the very first time we did like Face of Death or whatever with the serial killers, and we did like an intro episode.
Yep.
And that episode, and you talked about
Inside the Mind of the Killer.
Jeffrey Dahmer like in Black Angus.
That was no, that was Jeffrey Dahmer's episode. Yes,
no,
yes.
it wasn't. No. I swear to God, it wasn't. It was in the intro.
We're gonna
episode.
have to play it back.
No, it was in the intro episode because we were talking about how some guys like partook in cannibalism, and I said, "Do you think it was like when they're at the grocery store and they're like, oh, this?" And you're like, "I don't know, Jeffrey Dahmer kind of like that Black Angus."
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
the intro. Inside the Mind
episode.
of the Killer.
Yep, it was in that one for sure. And so, that is fucking great. So that's my number 5.
For 4, I'm gonna get kind of sentimental. It doesn't exist anymore. It used to could. But the first one, we were virgins. You know what I mean? We didn't know what the fuck to talk about.
Nope.
We didn't know
talk
what
about the
to do.
NFL.
We're like looking at each other. So awkward. We didn't have any clothes on. We had the mics on, thankfully.
I think somewhere in that episode is me saying, "You can cut that out, right?" And when we thought it would just be super easy just to like
we just
chop
let her
out
ride.
something.
We let her ride.
No, that's
no,
good.
it was super easy, but we just let her ride. Just that first one, the Band-Aid. Ripping that fucking Band-Aid. Half of anything you do in life, the first 1, 5, 10 of them are gonna suck.
Sure.
There's
In
a
our
learning,
case, the first 100.
there's a learning curve to everything. Like if it's something you want to do, you want to be decent at, okay, perfect, you fucking just kind of keep doing it, man.
Sure.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Number 4 for me is probably I'll say this. Number 4 for me is going to be the very first time that we did an episode with TBR. Like just the whole thought of we are literally recording a podcast with people that are fucking on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like super cool. That in itself is awesome. 2, the fact those guys are fucking great guys.
Yeah, stand-up dudes, every one of them.
And being able to sit here, drink beers, talk about beer and football and whatever else, and just that kind
People
of
shoving flares up their ass.
Yeah. I mean, just sort of the creation of that relationship with them in general was
The Boston
awesome.
Beer Party.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take that as number 4.
3. Where do I go? I think I go Ted Bundy in the Zombie Mountain String Band.
Yes.
That was our first Faces of Death.
Yeah, because we talked about how he would use the His
Yeah,
is this a CrossFit gym or something?
No,
Like,
no, that was
No, that-
Ridgeway. That was Ridgeway.
was it? Are you
Yeah,
sure?
Green River. Yes, yes.
No, because we talked. Ridgeway was.
Let's stop. Ridgeway would fuck him till the flies came home.
Yeah, I know that,
But
and the
he
rocks and
planted-
stuff.
But he planted them along the Green River. Now listen, no,
You're
stop.
wrong. You're wrong.
Stop.
I'm telling you, you're fucking wrong, dude.
No,
Yes, because on the mountain he had multiple ones set up.
no, he
Yes.
did not have them set up.
We're gonna goddamn, we're gonna be all night listening to these episodes and settle these arguments. Because I'm telling you, fucking it
Gary-
was Ted Bundy.
No, Gary Ridgway had the American Ninja Warrior corpse.
I don't
Course.
think so.
Yes, he
Nope.
did.
Nope.
I swear to God.
Agree to disagree.
Okay. Ted went back up the mountain.
Because he was painting their faces and shit.
Yes, but he did not pose them. That was Ridgeway. He would take his wife back there and fuck her over top of their bodies. Completely.
Who would?
Ridgeway.
I don't remember that.
That was his CrossFit gym. I promise you. I promise you. But
All right, we'll settle that one.
I'm a huge fan of the Faces of Death. I love it. I think it brings out some crazy conversations, obviously, like we just had. But I think Ted was kind of the beginning, you know?
Sure. Oh, he absolutely was because it was the first one.
But
yeah,
he kind of started. There's been others. There's some I listen back to. It's like, fuck. Some of them are just kind of boring.
right.
I mean, Berkowitz.
Oh,
like,
God,
fuck.
Son
What do you
of
talk
Sam,
about that
yeah.
guy?
But we knew it
Should've
though.
just
We
shot
knew it
him.
when we were doing it that this was
Fuck.
compared to what we had done to that point. We're like, this is stupid.
You know, we should have had him early.
We should have just made some shit up,
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
son of Uncle Sam, literally. All right. So what am I on? Is it my
Three?
three?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say just for the sake of like its popularity, the Hunter S. Thompson episode. Like, it's insane that it
He's
has
floating the boat.
like nearly 5,000 listens, and I think that in a way we sort of struck gold. Like, just coincidentally, we didn't even know, but like Joe Rogan had just had a podcast with
He is easily the most interesting person we've talked about.
yeah, and Rogan
Easily.
happened to like literally the week before we released that was talking about him on his podcast. And so,
But it continues.
but I'm saying sure, but I think that
it gets more plays than anything else we put
well,
out.
it jumped fast. I'm saying so. Like,
Right.
I think that it just was people were like heard that and were curious and started digging. And there's not the
Here's
crazy
your
part
chance.
is
Here's your chance. You tell everybody how you felt about it when I presented it to you.
I don't necessarily remember.
Who the fuck is Hunter S. Thompson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and I was like, I wasn't sure who. I mean, I knew of like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, right? Like, I had heard of that and that correlation, but like,
At some point in time, I think we need to go back through and get our pull on the Rum Diaries, like when he was in Puerto Rico, and he's
Right.
such an interesting dude.
oh, absolutely,
and
like
it's
I
fucking
there's
horrible
no denying that now.
how he. And I will say, suicide, whatever. He chose to go out the way he chose to go out, but I think that story ended just a little too soon. I
Sure.
think he's probably still had a little something in the tank.
Yeah, probably. Oh, so your turn, number 2,
I'm gonna go with TB, and
TB.
I'm not going to elaborate. TB, loyal listener. Episode 33, the destruction of the fishing bucket. Because that was a life altering bowel
TB,
movement.
what the fuck is TB? Loyal listener.
Think of the initials, TB.
Oh,
You're still looking at me goofy. I told you the other
Why
day
am
who
I-
it was. Yeah, why
Oh,
are you?
yes. Sorry.
But the destruction of the fishing bucket was a serious issue in this house. The fact that everybody came out to check up on me, I'm like, just leave me alone. This is the lowest part of my life right now. Just leave me alone.
That
for a
is,
minute, please.
I've known you for a long time.
know.
That is not the lowest part of your life.
I know. At the time it was. God damn it.
Not even close, man. Like that's not even like bottom 10.
It's probably not, but it was a good. I mean, I can still see it now in my mind. I love that bucket. She's gone now.
Gone but not
C'est la
forgotten.
vie. R.I.P.
So number two, Ed Kemper. Big Ed, man.
What's it
Like,
called?
What the
Do you remember?
co-ed killer?
No. What's it called? The Act.
Oh, was it Iramatio?
All right. Yeah.
Iramatio,
Fucking still in it.
which is the act of like fucking a neck root, apparently, which we struggled
Just a-
with in that episode.
Just a blowjob from the other end. That's all it is.
Was that making a suck job? Yeah, gosh. I mean, he was one of the. I still like
Fascinating.
one of the most fascinating people we talked about because we said it numerous times throughout that series. He seemed to be the most likable of all of despite some of his acts, like the most. He seemed to be the most normal, right?
At times. Yeah.
And the least monster like, if you will. Because I still say that had he just murdered his mother first, he would have never killed anyone else. Like, I think that the whole deal there was he had a serious issue with mom.
Yeah.
And he, in some weird way, was channeling his anger through murdering these other people until he finally murdered. Because he only murdered, what, like 6 people or something? Only, whatever. But, like, it wasn't like some of these other fucking guys. And once he murdered his mother and her friend,
Done.
that was it. Like,
Yeah. It's over.
I think if he would have just killed his mom
In Pueblo, Colorado. That's where it ended.
initially,
Crazy.
that his story would have been much shorter and we probably never would have even heard of him, honestly. But, because, I mean, you hear the crazy shit from his childhood and whatever. Like, so, yeah, number 2 for me, Big Ed.
All right. My ones, though, and I kind of went back and forth. I love this guy. History. I think he's completely changed history, the course of history. And I'm taking Larry Flint, numero uno. Nobody fuck the man bigger than Larry Flint and got away with it. Was successful for a very long time. I love that. Like, he's an outlaw, like, to a T.
He definitely was the type of guy that lived his life with both middle fingers in the air. Right? I mean,
and took bullets for it. You know what I mean?
literally.
Paralyzed rest of his life. Gangster.
And
OG,
they probably thought
Larry
that would
Flint.
slow him down. But little did they know. Little did they know
Ramped him up.
that he was going to roll his crippled ass right into court.
Yeah.
In which he did. My number 1, and I would say, and it's funny, Matty Ice asked me at one point, not too long after him and I met through you, and he said, you know, we're talking about pup time, and he's like, you know, what episode would you say you're the most proud of? And this still stands to this day. Like, if someone were to come along and say, like, give me one episode that shows me like your capabilities as a podcast, what would it be? And for me, it would be the episode that we talked about abortion, 100%, because I think that we showed that despite our, you know, you can listen to 90 out of 100 episodes we've recorded where we talk about dick and fart jokes and people fucking people's faces and everything else. And it would have been very easy for us to handle that episode in a much different manner than we did.
Right.
But we didn't. And I think what we did, more so than the fact that we handled it maturely, is we showed that, because at the time Dick was in here, and I think that we all each have 3 different opinions on the situation. And we sat here and discussed 3 different opinions in a very productive way that, and not at any point in time did we discredit anyone else's opinion. I think that, my thing would be like, this is what the world should be like. We should be able to talk about these issues in a productive way where we disagree and everyone can have their opinion heard, and we don't have to fucking agree, but you don't have to hate someone just because you disagree.
Right.
And so for that reason, that by far is my number one.
Yeah, we only hate certain people here in the pub.
Correct.
Yeah. We
Absolutely.
usually voice that opinion. So,
Who do you think that we've hated the most?
like one singular person, a group.
I don't know. I mean, I hope it's not a group because that might be troublesome for us. But
They're probably not listening. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
I don't know. That's tough. Who have we hated the most?
I know Casey Anthony's still on my fucking list. She got fat ass, but fuck that bitch.
Leave it to you to see the best in someone.
Silver lining always. You kidding me?
Yeah,
they should probably hang her still.
Oh, she
got away with killing her child.
1,000% got away with murder. Like, just think in our lifetimes, like we have. Now, I'm sure there are others, but like high profile cases, like we have seen 2 trials in our lifetime where literally everyone
Which
watching.
one? What's the first one?
OJ.
OJ. You think? I don't think he did.
He did.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
100%. OJ and Casey Anthony, two major trials that have happened within our lifetimes where everyone in America knew who committed those murders except for the 12 people on the fucking jury.
What about Jean Bonnet?
I thought I saw something recently where like somebody came out and like confessed or something, which is
Deathbed?
weird.
Or just
I don't know. I didn't
some
dig
pedophile?
into it.
Speaking of, I told you earlier about this recent trip I had with my wife for our anniversary. She'd been asking.
You know? Oh,
Listen, about going and getting a fucking pedicure.
Oh yes, yeah. You made a confession. Speaking of confessions, yes.
We're in the confessional, so fucking I'm coming off of it.
Okay.
She'd been asking. And I'm like, listen, there's just certain shit we don't do. That's one thing, like, it just never crossed my mind that I need to go soak my feet in this thing while this chair just fucking does ungodly things to my back. So I go, but she tricks me in. She goes, FYI, there are 2 women that work at this place. They're Asian and very healthy.
No, you say it the way you said it to me before we get on here.
Mother-daughter combo.
2 Asian women with giant tits.
And I go, those don't even go in the same.
Yeah. She could have not even told you the service they were providing. It could have been an execution clinic.
Would have been
And
there.
she would have been like, "They're just come with me, Ryan."
It could have been like a Kevorkian pop-up.
They're 2
right,
Asian
I would have
women
been
with
there.
giant tits. Just don't worry about the
I'm
rest.
interested. Let's
You would have
try
at
it
least
out.
gotten in the car.
Exactly.
And
So I get there, right? And I'm real hesitant. I get my feet in the little
so,
tub.
just in case you're confused out there, Ryan got a pedicure. That's what he's talking about. We got a fucking pedicure.
Hold on. It gets deeper. I get my feet in the tub. You're sitting in these chairs, and these fucking chairs, man, they're worth every penny. I don't care if you just go pay $20 to sit in that fucking chair, but it's got some things that just like up and down your back the entire time.
What if? Let's open a strip club that has those chairs.
Oh, fuck. You kidding me?
Gold mine,
You kidding me?
front and back stimulation.
Have you ever sat in one of these chairs?
No, I don't think so. No, I've never got a
Titties.
pedicure. So
They might be the same chairs that are sitting in the middle of the mall. I've never sat in those ones, but they could be. So we're sitting there. There's I'm going to think of a good way to word this. A wildly homosexual man sitting next to me.
oh, that's very delicate.
Okay.
Thank you for thinking so long about how to word that.
He finishes his pedicure,
How do you finish?
not on my face.
Inquiring minds want to
Probably
know.
in the tub.
Did you guys have a conversation?
No, but shit
hold hands?
Shit gets serious. Hold on. Shit gets serious. He goes and sits in front of me, like getting a manicure now, like totally different.
Eye contact?
No.
Please tell me he's just sitting there with his hands on the table, staring deeply into your eyes.
Lucky for him, I'm staring at his back.
Okay.
But while he was sitting, like
before or after the pedicure?
After the pedicure, I'm still sitting there. But while he was sitting there, he's kind of like chatting, talking shit. Like, oh, it's so good you came, blah, 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 blah.
He's telling you this?
While I'm sitting next to my old lady. We're
all
kind of chit-chatting.
Glad you came.
No, motherfucker.
No,
you know
come
what
on.
I'm
No. You don't. I'm not letting you up the hook because you'd be hanging me up to dry.
No.
You'd be stringing me up the flagpole on this. Don't act like I'm the guy that doesn't want to take things seriously right now.
You're ruining where I'm getting with this.
God.
Because I'm pretty sure this guy's a pedophile.
Don't tell me that.
He goes and sits in front of me. He has a fucking tattoo on his ankle of a triangle with Mickey Mouse ears, and it's purple. Is the weirdest. I have no problem with tattoos. I love tattoos. I've seen all.
Is that a thing though? Is that like
I don't
a symbol?
Fucking know. But it's the weirdest place fucking tattoo I've ever seen.
Now, if you were to tell me though, if you were to say I saw a man with a purple triangle with Mickey Mouse ears on his ankle, I would say probably gay man.
I met a man that looked like a power bottom with a fucking upside down triangle with Mickey Mouse ears on top of it. Craziest looking tattoo I've ever seen in my life.
Is there anything else?
Some wild
is there
shit.
anything else about him that made you believe he was a pedophile despite his weird tattoo?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
What? No, that's the long and short of my fucking story.
I asked you if there was anything else about him that made you think he's a pedophile besides his tattoo. And you said yes, so I was waiting for you to elaborate.
I'm like dialed in on this tattoo the entire time. And now since he's like moved away from us, I don't say a fucking word to him.
What makes you think he's a pedophile?
What tie does the Mickey Mouse thing have at all? Like seriously.
How do you know? Maybe his mom's favorite color is purple. He liked triangles and loves Disney World. I don't
know, man. It seems weird to me. Seems weird.
But is it a symbol? I mean, that's not like a known symbol of anything.
No. Just Mickey Mouse at its core.
Dude, I've seen grown straight men that love Disney World.
Mickey Mouse at its core. First thing that pops in your mind. Like groups of people.
I truly don't.
Mickey Mouse.
I do not. I don't make that connection.
Like I know that you don't make that.
Oh, children,
connection?
Sure, yeah. But there's plenty of adults there are Disney adults that fucking love Disney. Like, I just don't like. Hey, I'm anti-pedophile as much as the next guy.
If he loved, I don't know, man. It was a really weird place. It was a strange place.
Why don't you ask him about it?
Oh, I can't do that.
Why?
Oh man, I don't know. Somebody said something out of pocket.
What?
I don't know.
Anyway, hey, faggot, tell me about the Mickey Mouse tattoo.
No, not me saying something out of pocket. If he said something out of pocket, shit would have got serious real quick. It was the strangest thing because
that's a jump, man.
Listen. Like, no. Angie later, like as soon as we got in the car,
now, if you got vibes off the guy, that's different.
Angie later, as soon as we got in the car, she goes, "Did you realize we stopped talking to that guy?" And I go, "Yeah." And I start talking. She goes, "The tattoo on his leg?" I go, "Abso-fucking-lutely." Serious. It was not a normal placement. It was not a normal fucking tattoo, man. I'm telling you, it was not. It was not something.
Do you think anything else about his lifestyle is quote normal?
Yeah, being gay is fine. I have no issue with that. I have zero fucking issue with that. I have an issue with the age range.
Sure.
If I had a bouncy house tattooed on the back of my leg, I gotta fucking hit. You know what I mean?
I'll say this,
it seems strange. I don't know.
I think it's hard for me to make a judgment without seeing it, right? Because you saw it, you talked to the guy, you interacted.
I will invite Jerry over for a conversation.
You interacted with the guy, so you got a sense for his personality.
I've met this guy before. He closed on our house.
Was it like an attorney? Or the opposing
He's the
lawyer or whatever?
At the title company. He wrote off on her shit.
Maybe he's following you.
No. It ain't. I'm just telling you, the fucking tattoo was...
Maybe he wants to put Mickey ears on you.
I don't know. I'm probably not his age range. I'd tear his ass up.
Maybe he hopes your triangle is purple.
What? No, yeah, he might. I don't know. Me and Billy went and got pizza yesterday. I was wearing my Hoochie Daddy shorts. The waiter, I'm fucking paying for my shit. His name is Darius.
Darius.
And he goes, "Do you have any plans for this evening?" I said, "Absolutely not, Darius. How about you?" Like,
Yeah.
it was weird, yeah. I think Darius trying to cup them cheeks a little bit.
Hey, man.
I don't know why you're backing Jerry so much. But
I'm just trying to offer
I'm gonna.
an alternate view.
I don't know.
I didn't see this
It was
guy.
strange. Oh,
I understand, like, a visual goes a long ways. I didn't see this guy.
Chris Hansen would have been all up in his shit, guaranteed. Guaranteed. It was different.
That's fair.
I don't question every gay man, woman I meet in my life. This guy, creepy fucking dude.
Red flags.
Oh, all the fucking way.
I mean,
In the tattoo, the biggest question.
and
I have.
you just let him walk out of that place, and just continue on his reign of terror.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm seriously, you're being a fucking weirdo about it.
I'm being
I'm
weird
telling
about it.
you, I had serious fucking. As soon as we hit the car, we both were like, "Did you fucking see it?" Yeah, I seen it. I have no
Sure.
clue what that was.
So how would you feel if,
It
like,
did not look
next
like
week
some
you
sort
see
of
like
custom
this guy's
tattoo.
picture on the fucking news?
To be honest, if I knew in my heart that's what happened, I would have fucking smashed his head open right there as I seen him. Without a, I got bail money. I split that fucking dome right there, no problem. But it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I've encountered some people like that. We're just
Never
like
in my
weird
life,
vibes.
never in my life have I seen a tattoo and been like, something's weird about that.
Well, like I said, it's tough for me to say without seeing this man in person, because I think that's important. Like, being in the same space as a person, sensing their vibe. And you were, and I trust you.
Like I
You
said,
say,
Chris Hansen would have been a foot and a half up his ass, which he'd probably been okay with. But it was just the weirdest. It was some strange shit.
I don't know
Strange.
that.
Getting real close.
We are.
Got about 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
We got to go a Hondo, right? 100 on 100.
Oh, is that what it is?
That was your fucking idea.
Shit, I didn't even realize. wasn't even thinking about that. We are
That was yours.
2 minutes, less than 2 minutes
Dangerously close.
away from 100 minutes on the 100th episode of the Pub Time Podcast.
Here's to one more.
100 more, or just one more?
Just
101.
101.
Here's the
Okay.
101.
That's how I played my Disney into it. Dalmatians. Very unfortunate.
Wow.
I know I'm throwing some love on tonight.
Yeah.
Got a good feeling. Yeah.
Guy with a purple tattoo.
Fuck him. Forever. Possibly.
What issues do we have to settle after this?
What?
The
Fantasy football? And you obviously thinking that Ted Bundy's Zombie Mountain String Band was
is
a
the
part
CrossFit
of...
gym.
No, it isn't.
Yes.
That's Gary Ridgway. I'll fucking play it
We're
for
gonna
you here
listen
in
to it.
30 seconds. So
What else? What else did I tell you I was going to show you after this?
fantasy football. That's what we're gonna do.
No.
We're gonna hash it out. September
we can do-
3rd.
but what-
September 3rd.
That's
is
fine.
what's
But what
happening.
else? There's something else I told you I was going to show you when we're done.
Hopefully.
Not that.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Very unfortunate.
no, seriously though. I said I'll show you it when we're done. And it was something you were like, oh fuck.
It was the Ridgeway and
No, there's
I
something
know
before
it
that
was.
early on.
Oh, I don't remember, bud.
We'll have to listen
can't
back
do
to
it
this
back.
episode. Find out. Here we go, buddy. 23 seconds.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
We gotta wait.
I know who we're throwing it up to.
Okay.
Bick's little boy, Waylon. It's his first birthday today.
Woo! All right,
We're going out with 100 episodes of the pub. What do you think
man.
about that?
Son of the bag lady.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
So one up to Waylon.
Happy birthday, Waylon.
That's right.
Your dad's a good man.
And now we're going to get out of here. Here's to those that wish us well. All the rest can go to hell. Thank you, everybody, for everything. Waylon, we love you. Good night, bitches.
Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
And fuck you, Jerry. He's a pedophile. I don't give a fuck what you say, man. Weirdest goddamn tattoo I've ever seen in my life.
Everybody in the club getting tipsy. I won't deny it, I'm a straight rider. You don't wanna fuck with me. I got the police busting at me, but they can't do nothing to a G.
Wow, 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 is very nice.